Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be designing an OC with the help of several of my friends on Deviantart. Before we begin, I'd just like to apologize if I mumble at any points. I have difficulty forming words and hearing, so sometimes I mumble or talk too fast. Without further ado, let's continue. About a week ago, I posted a series of polls on my Deviantart containing several traits for a character people could vote on. These included species, sex, body type, hair length, hair type, hobbies, personality, environment, physical features, and a companion. After 5 days, I closed the polls, and here are the results. Our character's sex will be male, and his species will be a dragon. He will have long, wavy hair and a curvy body type. He will have tattoos, glasses or an eye patch, and scars. This dragon boy is elegant and intimidating, but ultimately gentle. His hobbies include home brewing, quilting, knitting, and needlepoint, and cooking. He lives in a fall-like environment and owns a pet snake. Alright, I was super excited upon receiving this unique combination. To start off the development of this character, I sketched out some dragons. I've personally never attempted to draw dragons before now, so I struggled a bit at first, but quickly got the hang of things. While sketching, I had the idea to give him some intimidating meat-eater tusks sticking out from his jaw, but make him vegan or vegetarian to incorporate his ultimately gentle nature. This stayed all the way to the final design. Another thing I thought to include would be a scar across one of his eyes paired with a bad eyesight. This would lead to perpetual squinting on his part, only adding to his intimidating appearance. After I got the anatomy of dragons down and some solid ideas for his design, I decided to work on giving him a humanoid side. My mind was quick to make the association between dragons and ancient China. This led me to research the beautifully elegant clothing types from Chinese culture. So I sketched up some elegant and intimidating poses to try these clothes on. I found that I loved the aesthetic, so I moved on to the final design. For the final dragon form design, I decided to incorporate ideas from many of my sketches. I liked the neck fur of the winter dragon, but it did not match the climate he would live in. Instead, I decided to shift most of it to trail down his neck, much like the fin seen in this sketch. I decided to keep that intimidating scarred eye and bad eyesight. Though I initially had the idea to have his tattoos show in the form of missing scales, I decided the idea would only serve to distract from his other features. I dabbled with the idea of crippling his left wing to keep him from flying, though I decided against it. I also entertained the idea of adding a scar at the base of his wing, possibly from a fight with another dragon, but instead I decided to give him the broken horn. While this takes away from his elegant appearance, it certainly makes him look battle-worn and intimidating. I definitely struggled with his colors. Though I initially tried to pull the fall color palette off the top of my head, it did not turn out so well. Halfway through coloring the first time, it occurred to me he looks a little bit like the horse from the movie Spirit. Oops. I tried to shift the colors around, but it didn't help. In the end, I ended up Googling a fall color palette and using one that looked decent. With the help of some friends, I decided to keep this final palette and finish the design. Though it's darker than initially intended, I believe it looks pretty good. If I could redo it, I think I'd make the central color a bit brighter. I really enjoy his human form. I find his clothing, while complicated, to be very elegant and beautiful. His human design came to me much more easily than his dragon design, simply because I'm more used to drawing humans than dragons. Going along with his elegant design, I gave him some braided waist-length hair, shown best in the tattoo reference. Additionally, I made sure to have his tusk-like teeth pointing out. I drew all of the colors except his skin tone directly from his dragon design. This helped add uniform to his design. Though I entertained the idea of ditching his fiery hair for this design and going with a uniform brick dust red, I liked the flair it added to his character. As for his tattoos, I tried to brainstorm some dragon-like tattoos. I did this by searching up the phrase dragon aesthetic on Google for inspiration. I decided that smoke, trees, and scales would be an interesting topic to form tattoos based upon. In the end, I decided to keep the smoke and scales, adding them to his shoulder and wrist. Additionally, it occurred to me while positioning these tattoos that I could fill his back with tattoo versions of his wings. I thought this would be a nice touch, and it's one of my favorite tattoos he has. One thing I struggled to communicate through his initial design is that he likes to cook. Because of this, I decided to give him a second design modeled after the outfits worn by farmers in ancient China and surrounding countries. I like to imagine that he grows his own food. As mentioned earlier, I find the concept of this intimidating dragon man being a vegan or a vegetarian to be quite entertaining. As such, I think he would have a passion for discovering new plants he could grow and eat. Last but not least, we have our character's faithful companion. Snakes are honestly one of my favorite animals to draw, and I have lots of fun drawing this one. I knew I wanted them to be a color that complemented those of our dragon boy, so I chose a pale yellow. There's not too much to say about the snake, so I hope any further development into his story will serve to also develop this little snake. I wonder where the snake came from, or what his name is. regardless. In the end, I'm really satisfied with this design. I had tons of fun working on this project. It was a great change of pace for me, and the first time in a long time I was able to throw myself into developing a character. One huge thing that he's still missing is a name. Because this is my first time doing something like this, I wasn't sure if I should give him a name myself, or enlist the help of you, the viewers. I'm not sure how many people will watch this, or what kind of response it will get, so for the time being, I plan to come up with names to be entered into a final poll. If anyone has suggestions, I'd be thrilled to hear them. Please leave a comment containing your suggestion and I will add it to the poll. I would love to do this again, and I may in the future. This turned out to be a lot more work than I initially anticipated, between polling, sketching, drawing, recording video and audio, editing, and the like. Regardless, I feel it was worth it, and I'm eager to do this again if anyone is interested. I'd like to thank those on my Deviantart who helped me by voting for this Dragon Boy's traits. I hope I represented your wishes well, and thank you all for voting and watching.